All right. On live with you. Yay. Oh my goodness. Okay. It's been a minute. It's been a minute. But ladies, we're back. Wait a second. There, now we're back. Oh my goodness. If you're on live with me, let me know. I know some of you said you were going to jump on. This was kind of not announced as I normally announce for you guys, but here we go. Pain, tightness. I'm going to start this pain management series. Want to hear from you if you feel like a tight, painful, achy, stiff body is inevitable as you get older, right? Can you prevent and even reverse age-related pain and stiffness? This is what we want to really discover and talk about. Pain and tightness, especially in your back and your hips, your neck, right? It can totally derail your life. I know, I have lived this multiple times. It drains your energy, it steals your desire to be physically active, it can ruin your quality of sleep, and it can even create stress-induced weight gain, which is not good for any of us. But in today's session and in this series, I'm going to coach you through my method for aging well. I'm going to share my 3-part framework that is absolutely mandatory if you want a pain-free body as the years tick by. And if any of these 3 parts are missing from your life, your body's going to hurt. You're going to struggle, especially with your back and your hips. But the good news is that this framework can even reduce and eliminate current pain that you're experiencing without ever needing to do something like surgery or constant cortisone injections or ongoing expensive treatments for most people. So if you're excited to dive in, I want you to comment ready down below. Even if you're listening to the replay, comment ready. It sends a signal to your own brain saying, I am going to commit to focusing on improving my health. And this session is the first step. And we're going to get you feeling great in your body now and for many years to come. Yay, Megan. Hey, I'm so glad you got to jump on for this. So let me do a quick intro before I dive into this framework. It's been a minute since I've done a live. And so this is our Fuse to Fitness Wellness Wednesday. I've started sending these out by email, and I'll send this out by email too. I'm your coach, Morgan Thibault. I'm a certified prenatal postpartum fitness specialist, certified personal trainer. I've helped hundreds of moms dealing with postpartum related pain and symptoms. And personally, like, I used to be obsessed in that sort of diet culture and mainstream fitness area of burning calories, getting toned, and earning that bowl of Reese Puffs. I love cereal, you guys. But seriously, after multiple spinal surgeries, living with chronic pain, I've really had to reevaluate and learn how to build strength in a sustainable way. And so now I'm totally on a mission to make fitness more accessible and sustainable for the everyday mom. So that is what we're here for. And I'm so glad you're here for it. Megan is ready. So let's dive in. Okay. Seriously, how many times have you jumped on social media and you see like a meme or you hear these offhand jokes in conversation that exist about just getting old, feeling stiff and achy? I mean, it's off the charts. It's everywhere. You can scroll through your social media, Instagram, Facebook, and you'll find memes of moms who are struggling with all kinds of aches and pains, but they're settling for it as if this is just how getting older or being a mom is. This is just how it is. I actually saw a comedian sketch recently where, and I can't remember his name. I was trying to search for it. It was something I scrolled and found, but he was describing, the sketch was about how he was describing what life was like before 40. And he had a chair and he was demonstrating, like, people before 40 don't see anything wrong with this. And he stepped up on the chair confidently and jumped down. And he said everybody in the audience that was younger than 40 wouldn't see any issue with that. But everybody who was over 40 in the audience was like, because we're freaking out. We're super cautious. We're afraid of falling off the chair. We definitely wouldn't jump down. He was like kind of like crawling down all points of contact, And yeah, it was funny, but it really made me dig deeper into this thought process. Why are we normalizing pain and discomfort? Why are we settling for that in our lives? It's the same thing that goes along with this running joke that just really is one of my pet peeves among moms, where if you've ever been at a park play date and moms are chit-chatting about how they're not going to run around after their kid because they'll probably pee their pants. And then that sets off a whole host of jokes about how, well, this mom, can't jump rope, or this mom can't sneeze or laugh or cough without leaking. That's just how it is. I'm a mom. Wrong, 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 wrong. It's not funny or a joke. Like that's how I feel. And I know that humor helps us get through a lot of really hard and embarrassing situations. But if you're leaking, it actually means that your pelvic floor is weak and that you can actually do something about it. It's totally preventable and something that you can also reverse. So this brings me here to a question I want to present. Is it possible to move with ease as our bodies age and avoid moving like an old person? It makes me think of after my first spinal surgery, I could not move. I didn't know how to walk. I had lost all strength in my left leg. My left leg had so much nerve damage. I was dragging it. I was told I wouldn't use that leg properly again. And I was using a walker. I was bound to a walker for months. And I just was like, this is it. This is as good as it's going to get, you know? And if you feel like maybe that's how you move now, like you wake up in the morning and it takes you a little while to kind of get going because you need to get things lubricated, or maybe after a long car ride, everything is just stuck, stiff, aching, you got to stretch it back out, or maybe you just don't have the energy that you once had. I mean, am I totally off, or are you experiencing some of these things in your life? Like, let me know what you are experiencing, because here's the thing. If I don't understand what you're going through, then I can't really customize and respond appropriately. But the thing is, we live in mortal bodies, right? No amount of biohacking, there's no amount of biohacking that we can do to avoid the forward momentum of aging, getting older, degeneration, breaking down. That stuff's going to happen. However, there are so many things that we can do intentionally to take care of our bodies, the ones that we have, to take care of them well, and to make sure that we have a functioning, effective body that feels good for many years to come. And in a lot of the situations that I've been in where my independence has been taken away because of my pain and my limitations, or my ability to move has been taken away because of pain and limitations that I've dealt with, it makes me think about my future. It makes me want to be more proactive now. I'm not going to lie. I'm not living a pain-free life. And I actually don't know if that's possible for me. And I'm not saying that I'm not going to try to live that pain-free life, though, but I've got to do something to stay mobile, to stay strong, and to stay active and energized in the body that I have right now. And that is going to help prepare me to be the same way as I move forward in age. I mean, how many of you want to be that grandma that's in her 80s or 90s and is still out hiking and walking all day around at the zoo with grandkids and great grandkids? I mean, I want to be that grandma. I know several women right now in my life who are in their 70s. I have a client, she's 70, she's a badass. She lifts weights, she's out in the garden, she's always walking, moving, doing, she's nonstop because she follows this framework. And it's so important. There are always going to be certain things that are outside of our control with our health. Like for me, it's my spinal degeneration. That's out of my control. It's not like I did something to cause that. It's not like I didn't take care of myself and it was something that I created, right? Arthritis is another one of those things. Osteoarthritis is the most common form of arthritis. It's typically what we think of with arthritis, right? And it can be that degradation in your cartilage where it kind of just starts to break down, and it can even become like bone on bone, and bone can even start to change shape, which causes inflammation, and then it leads to that pain and stiffness, or maybe even loss of mobility. And it's just this chain reaction. And there's no cure for my degenerative disc disease. There's no cure for osteoarthritis. There's no reverse for these things. But there are a lot of ways to manage it and to be proactive about preventing these things, which is the point of this session. We can be proactive and ensure that you are still moving and functioning well without the pain. This is not an inevitable thing. So, I mean, many women won't develop osteoarthritis. And if you follow this 3-part formula, even if you already have something like that in your life that you've been diagnosed with, what I'm going to share with you today is going to help reduce your chances of getting worse. And it's also going to maybe even help reverse some of the symptoms that you're already experiencing. Because of my personal history with my spine, when I worked at the gym, I had several clients who came to me that were older. I'm talking 60, 70, right? And they also had some type of spinal surgery or injury that they were managing. They had also developed arthritis, but by following this formula, this framework, all of them were able to reclaim their strength and mobility in a way that allowed them to look forward to waking up every day, being physically active and feeling better despite their aging. And we're talking about things like, I'm sure, how many of you are experiencing lumbar issues, low back pain, SI joint pain, sciatica? Oh my gosh, that can be relentless. Neck and back pain. You can get relief. So I'm looking here. Yeah, Megan says stiff lower back, limited mobility in my upper back, cracking and popping hips. That's really common with moms. If anybody else is experiencing that, raise your hand. Let me know. She says, I do yoga and work out daily, so I can't figure out what I'm doing wrong and why I feel so old and slow. Megan, you are not alone, girl. I totally see you. I know how hard you work. But let's dive into this. Stephanie says, I don't have a lot of constant pain, but sometimes I feel like I don't have great mobility going from sitting to standing, or stiffness in my knees when bending. And Stephanie, this is a big one, and we are going to talk about that today. And that's part of this framework for both of you, in that we have to look at our body. Nothing works in isolation. We've got to look at our body as this holistic, I don't want to use the word machine, but it's just a holistic system. There we go. And so the framework is going to be really easy to remember. It's 3 letters that we're all very familiar with, PMS. So if you want to write it down, you can, but I'm going to send this out to you in an email as well. But PMS, and that stands for posture, mobility, and strength. This is our 3-part framework. And let me break these down just a little bit, just to give you an idea of what we're talking about here. So good posture starts with understanding that your body has around 350 joints. And good posture is not just sitting up straighter and pulling your shoulders back. How many of you, when I say posture, start talking about it, you kind of maybe right yourself a little bit, right? It's not just that. It's proper joint alignment, which leads to good structural health. So Stephanie, hearing you say that going from sitting to standing or stiffness in your knees when bending, we're talking about that structural health. And without proper alignment, with your joints, you have the potential for a functional breakdown. And then that's where pain gets brought into the picture. And this is about repetitive movements and positions that you are in throughout the day. So for example, think about your day. What are some repetitive positions or movements that you're doing in your day to day? So for example, sitting at a desk, being on your phone, riding or driving in the car. Maybe you're a mom that's breastfeeding. That is a repetitive position. Standing at the sink doing dishes or doing laundry. These are repetitive movements. What else can you think of? It's really important for you to look into your own lifestyle and pull out some of these clues. What are those repetitive positions? You want to drop them below, do it, because it's only going to give me more insight. It's going to open the door, open the window, so I can see into what you are facing day in and day out. And as we move through this progressive pain management series and into the challenge, I will be able to tailor these resources and this coaching more and more and more and more as we go forward. Okay, it's really important to me that I'm responsive and coaching you. So here's the thing, all of those repetitive movements are just a handful of things that could positively or negatively impact your posture. They are simple things, right? These are day-to-day. It's not something you're doing in your workout, Megan. These are things that you're doing outside of your workout, right? It's the things that you don't think about during the day. When you think about, like, I'm working out, I'm moving my body, your workout is maybe 30 minutes, maybe 45 minutes of your day. That motivation that's always like, oh, a 1-hour workout's only 4% of your day. And they're trying to motivate you to go in and do that 1-hour thing. It's not that much time. Well, Exactly. That 1 hour workout is not that much time in the grand scheme of the 24 hours in your day. The way you move your body, outside of that 30-minute workout, that is what is going to count. And that is what is going to matter most. And anyone, anyone can work on improving posture and joint health and joint alignment at any stage of life. And any micro degree of improvement is absolutely worth it. So that's P, that's posture. That's the first part of this formula. The second part of this I want to talk about, Megan, hunching over a phone for work or mindless scrolling. I bet pretty much every mom could like that comment because they could also relate because they do that. I'm definitely guilty of that as well, and have had to set some boundaries on my phone, as in I've had to install cut off like an app that cuts me off after a certain amount of time because I'm trying to heal my neck. Right now, I've been dealing with a lot of neck and upper back pain, and that's not helping me. And it's a habit. It's so ingrained that I don't even notice that I'm grabbing my phone and checking it. And then I've been on it for 15 or 20 minutes and I've been in that position. And then my pain has flared up. And it's just one of those things I've had to put some boundaries around it. So that's just something to think about. We'll talk more about that as we go through. But let's move through the rest. So that's P. M. M stands for mobility. This component is key because if your muscles are tight or you have joints that aren't able to stay in good alignment because of tight or loose muscles, you won't be able to avoid the pain or the stiffness that comes with lack of mobility or proper range of motion. So an example that I know everybody can relate to is exactly what Megan just pointed out. This is related to forward flexion of the spine. Sitting at your desk all day over your keyboard or looking down at your phone and using your phone. It puts our body in this forward flexion, and this makes the muscles of the upper back and neck really tight, but it also makes the muscles in the chest shorter and weaker. Okay, in front of the shoulders and the chest become short and weakened when we're hunched over like this. When I see people complaining about back pain, hip pain, and they're just kind of chalking it up to getting older. I'm getting older. I've got, stiff joints, a crack here, I crack there. But I can look at you. I've got a decade of experience analyzing people's body alignment, muscle structure. I can look at you and I can see if you are super tight in your hip flexors, or maybe you're crazy tight in your upper back, or your neck is overcompensating, your traps are fired up, right? Maybe your hip flexors are tugging on the alignment of your pelvis, which is the root cause of your back pain, not aging. If we constantly blame it on aging, that's a symptom. That's not the thing. We've got to go to the root cause. You guys have heard me talk about this before. So one of the things that you could do is you could take some photos or some videos of you, how you move throughout your day, post them in the group and say, hey, coach, how do you see my body moving? What do you notice about my alignment? Because as we age, what happens is we become more sedentary. We create these imbalances. We create the pain through these, mundane, everyday movements that we're repeating over and over again. It honestly, right there might be the biggest statement of the day with this session. As we get older, we move less, we sit more. And because of that, I think slowly over time, we become this crotchety, stiff body that just doesn't feel good. And when you don't feel good and you ache and you hurt, that is not going to motivate you to get up and go work out or to get up and move your body, right? No, what does that encourage? It encourages more sitting, more sedentary, more laying down, right? And then we're just trapped. We're stuck in that cycle of it. The third part of this framework, we've done posture, we've looked at mobility. The third one is S, which is strength. All right, strong muscles are what hold your body together. Okay, anybody remember those little wooden toys where usually like a horse or just a person, you can like press on the button on the bottom and it would collapse and go limp? Do you guys remember this? Let me know in the comments. Yes, I remember, right? That's your body without strength, right? You push that button and the thing would just collapse and go limp. But then you let go of the button and it snaps back up into position. That's what muscle does for your body. And the more muscle you have, and especially surrounding your joints and some of those smaller, more supportive muscles, the better your alignment will be and the more able your body will be with physical activity. This is also why, does anybody go to a chiropractor regularly? Let me know, because getting an adjustment from your chiropractor feels really good at first. This is exactly why this happens. You achieve that first layer of relief where your alignment is reset. Okay, that's why P is first, posture, alignment is first. But without the muscle structure and the endurance to hold you there after the adjustment, you're going to return to your old movement pattern and you're going to be right back where you were, needing to return for another adjustment. This is why you probably know in the back of your mind, or if you've seen any of my ab rehab coaching sessions, you know that if you have back pain, you probably need to work on your core strength and your posture and your stability, because these components are critical. Nothing works in isolation, right? We've got to put all this together. So your strength training, okay? But if you're not mobile or your posture isn't in alignment, you're not going to get stronger. You're actually probably causing a lot of imbalances and overcompensations with misaligned muscle patterns, right? So you know this, but now you know why. I think it's incredibly important for us to understand the why behind things, because that's what's going to support and provide a foundation for us to want to be proactive and take that purpose-driven action towards, getting healthier joints, alignments, muscle structure, and all of this coming together. Okay, it all comes back down to that PMS formula. Okay, that's where we want to land. And here's the thing: you might say, okay, making sure you have good alignment, posture, strength, mobility. I got it, coach. I'm ready to change this now that I understand the framework and I know that it's something that I can be proactive about. If that is what you're thinking right now, that's I want you to tell me. I want you to comment, even if you're catching the replay. Talk to me. I'm going to come back and I'm going to check it out. If you're sitting there saying, okay, I'm ready to change this, I've got the framework, I want to be proactive, I understand that aging and feeling like crap are not my destiny, right? We do not have to settle for this. But here's what I don't want you to do. I don't want you to get off of this session being super motivated and be tempted to dive into some all out crazy workout program. You're like, yes, I'm ready to change my life. And then 3 days later, you're in even more pain and you're burnt out. And you're like, why did I do that? I hate my life. Okay. How did you get here? How did you get here to where you are? Did this happen overnight in one big, extreme, all in event? No. It happens slowly over time with small daily behaviors and movement patterns that became your normal. They become your habit. And that is exactly how you're going to reverse this. Slowly over time, focusing on small daily behaviors and movement patterns to change your habits, okay? So the good news about that is that no matter how old you are, right, you can be proactive to start feeling better now, but you've got to incorporate all three parts of this formula. And you've got to hear me when I tell you, like, slow and steady is what's going to win this race. We're in this for the long, we're playing the long game, all right? Posture, mobility, and strength. Without all three of these, you're not going to be able to feel and move as great as you could, so raise your hand, put in that vote for being as functional and healthy and mobile as long as possible in your life. I want to take care of this body well. That's what I need you affirming to yourself. And you might be like, sounds kind of strange to say these things out loud to myself, but your words are powerful. Hearing your words is powerful. So if nobody's around, say, I want to take care of this body well. Get that into your head. What we think changes how we feel changes what we do, and what we do is what gets us results. All right. So if you are just thinking it, say it, affirm it. All right. Say, yes, that's me. I'm ready to do this. And then if you are, what I want you to do is to commit to coming back next week and over the next couple of weeks. We're going to continue to unpack this leading up to the 4-day challenge in May. the reason I want to do that is because I want to dig deep into each aspect of the framework, the posture, the mobility, and the strength, and unpack each one of these for you and take this in small incremental steps. I don't just want to dump it all on you and then expect you to go and put it into action in your life. That's not going to work. That's exactly the opposite of how I'm asking you to approach this. So I'm going to drip it out. I'm going to give you one small actionable step weekly as we go through this pain management coaching. And then as we get into the challenge, we're going to pull it all together and really take action. And you're going to be so amazed at how the results come. Okay. I'm really going to break it down for you. So I do want to leave you today with something that you can take action on right now. I love it. Yeah. Karen says, I hear you about mobility, but arthritis is a real thing. It is 100% real. And I'm not denying that. I've got it in my hips. I've got it in my back. And I love that she says this. I haven't let that stop me from being active. However, it is real. And my knees get quite achy when I walk a lot and when I travel. Karen, and something else that I know about Karen, you guys, is that she swims. She is active. She's not letting it hold her back. She's being proactive. But let's make sure, Karen, you have a good foundation of all three of these, the mobility, the strength, and the posture, to really support you moving forward. Megan says, I'm so ready to change this, but I need something structured to follow. Yeah. So Megan, that's exactly what we're going to get towards. We're going to work towards there. I need you guys to be patient again, slow and steady. So here's the thing I want you to do today. I want you to think about which one of those three areas, the PMS, have you been neglecting a little bit? Maybe a lot of it, right? Is it your posture? Have you been sitting too long? Have you been on your phone so much? Or is it that you have been stretching too much and just focusing in on yoga and not enough strength training? Or maybe it's that you have been doing too much strengthening and high impact cardio, HIIT training, that kind of stuff, and you haven't been prioritizing your mobility or recovery. Which part of that framework have you been neglecting? I want you to share that in the comments below. Make sure that you're checking back in again over the next few weeks. And as we start to unpack all of this for you, if questions are coming up, or if you have details that you want to share, come back to this post or just bring it to the page and tag me. If you tag me in there and you've got questions, know that I'm going to respond. I'm going to be there for you. I'm going to send this out in a Wellness Wednesday email just after this, so you have the link to the replay as well as what we're talking about moving forward. But ladies, as always, right? Health is a daily practice. So we're going to commit, don't quit. This pain management series is going to be a game changer, and it's going to lead us right into that ab rehab challenge, that 4-day challenge. It's going to give you the structure that you're craving to stay focused and to stay on track with healing and feeling your best. Okay. So we'll do it together. I'm really excited for this. If you're excited, don't hesitate. Let me know, right? If I'm totally off on what you guys want to hear and learn about, like, speak up, because I'll respond to it. Advocate for what you need, girls. You're amazing. You're doing the best that you can do every day. And that's all that we can ask for. It is enough. All right. I'll see you next week.